And you would be amazed at the things that you can create with 2 tarps and some rope if you're desperate enough. So I'll show you I'll show you the situation that I've got going on here. It's pretty fun. Today I'll be demonstrating how to remove the decals and the stickers from your old Land Cruiser without damaging the paint too much. Now, start by water blasting it, and if your car is old enough, like these stickers have been on this car for the last 38 years, so they actually came off quite easily, but I would highly recommend giving it a good water blast and getting off as much as you can. Hitting it on an angle so that the water actually pushes up underneath the paint and flicks up, I found was the best way to do this. Instead of doing it just like that, it took a lot longer. So I wouldn't use a metal razor blade. If you're going to use a razor blade of any kind, go and buy one of those plastic razor blades from a paint shop, and that way you won't really, I mean, it's still hard enough to get the paint off, but it's not sort of sharp enough to scratch the paint. It's still got this sticky residue on it, and instead of getting like a fine grit sandpaper out, that's going to damage the paint underneath. So what we're going to be using today is a caramel wheel, which is pretty much just a piece of plastic that sits on the side of this, and using one of these will mean that we don't damage the paint underneath, but we peel up this little bit of sticker on it. So I'll demonstrate how to do that now. There you have it. As you can see, it's a little bit finicky, but none of that paint underneath is damaged. There are some little bits of residue left underneath, and I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do to get rid of that. And this is where I use this stuff. This is Dissolve It, and this is like an orange multi-purpose cleaner, and it's literally made for those little sticky bits of residue, and it is absolutely incredible at what it does. A few squirts of that, and that's a baby wipe. I mean, you know, it comes off pretty easily, but I just thought I'd demonstrate that. If you don't have this laying around the house, I'd highly recommend it. Very, very good stuff. So to give you an example of how good this stuff is, so this here, that's 38 years of dust and crap underneath, that's been sitting underneath a flare for the last 38 years. So I've already given this a water blast and it didn't really do anything. So I'm just going to give this a spray and see how much of this we can get off with nothing more than a bit of that citrus spray and a rag. Fan of this citrus spray. I use it often. I just need to get a new bottle soon. I'm not paid by these guys to use it to say that either. It's just a really good product. Obviously you got to mix it with a bit of elbow grease, but you've got to do that with a lot of things these days. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to run through with the little caramel wheel, scrub these off, these, and that little Sahara sticker down there. And yeah, I'll give you a little demonstration of what I do to get rid of these, and hopefully that helps. So I sit on a throne of lies. I'm unable to take a sticker off without damaging the paint underneath. As you can see here, I went a little bit too far, and I think that's bare metal or the old school primer that I used to have. So, I mean, I'm not too fussed because I'm sanding this back and then respraying it anyway. But, I mean, I wasn't exactly being delicate either. I did also notice that it came off a lot easier along here, and I think that's because the tarp isn't covering this area. So actually working in the rain, it actually seemed to be a little bit better. So I sprayed it with some of the Dissolve It stuff, and it actually managed to come off a bit easier in those areas there. So yeah. I've learned from using this caramel wheel for the last hour is to really make sure that you get all the paint off when you're water blasting. Underneath the badges and underneath the Landcruiser thing on the back, there just happened to be a little bit of paint underneath that, and that paint actually pulled the stickiness stuff away with it, and I think as it was ripping the paint off, it heated it up, and so now that little section there and this little section back here is quite messy and hasn't turned out as well as I'd wanted it to. But the rest turned out really nicely. Another thing that I found out is you don't actually need to have this at a high RPM because it just fatigues you after a while. Instead of having it like, you know, pumping, you can actually just go softly with it, just and it actually achieves a very similar result. And you're a lot more controlled obviously, which is a lot better. Another thing with that is just holding it as parallel to the edge of the body that you're working with as possible. So like I was really like trying to keep the drill really close to it and trying not to scratch it with the back of the drill as I went up and down. But yeah, trying not to angle it too much and really just work with, let the wheel do the work. Don't, you know, sit there like trying to hold it back, straining yourself. If you like this type of content and more, feel free to subscribe and check out my other 60 series videos. I'm also building a turbocharged bus. So if you like buses and you like Landcruisers, you like building them and you want to learn some stuff, check it out. Thanks for watching. Bye.